boy, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Brian Schottenheimer is going to have my black ass working overtime if he wants me to keep fan spirits up after some of these cuts that just came down for the Dallas Cowboys 53-man roster. We're going to get right into this as I was live reacting to this, and I've been uploading shorts all day long, but I wanted to be able to actually sit down, gather my thoughts, and talk to y'all about what it is that we're seeing right now. And I'm going to be completely real. Y'all know I keep it 100 on this channel. I still fully support Coach Schotty, but man, his decisions are going to have to pan out on the field for me not to be questioning them. Let's get right into it, and be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content as we get into some of the cuts made by the Dallas Cowboys today. Let's just call this one part 1. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss part 2. Shut your up. All right, so the first cut we're going to talk about, and one that I did not take very lightly. Treshaun Holden, rookie undrafted wide receiver out of Oregon. Treshaun Holden was one of the first casualties of Dallas Cowboys cut day, and I was not happy about this one. Honestly, my 53-man roster cut down day started off kind of salty. Now, I will say we did have a crowded wide receiver room, so it was going to be a long shot for any outside wide receiver to make the team this offseason, because with George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Kevontae Turpin pretty much entrenched into those top 3 spots, and then you have Jonathan Mingo and Jalen Tolbert right after them in 4 at 5, however you want to put them there. It pretty much was a situation where, honestly, receiver number 6 and 7 probably wasn't going to matter much because they probably weren't going to get on the field a whole lot. And as of right now, it looks like Ryan Flanoy is the guy that won that last job in the wide receiver room. So Treshaun Holden is gone, unfortunately. I'm hoping that he somehow makes it back to the practice squad, but with some of the names being released around the league at the receiver position, it's actually possible. So I'm going to be a little bit patient and just really hope and pray no one picks this guy up. The next cut that was made today was tight end Rivaldo Fairweather. This is one of those pass-catching, receiving tight ends, and he actually had a pretty strong offseason for the Cowboys, but him making the roster was always a long shot because, again, the tight end room is also crowded. Right now, our top 3 tight ends, which seem to be the guys we're going into the season with, consist of Luke Schoonmaker, Jake Ferguson, and Brevin Spann-Ford, and you could probably swing Hunter Lepke over there depending on where they want to line him up on the field. And I'm assuming that's why we're only holding 3 tight ends on the roster, so that way Hunter Lepke could kind of fill in one of those positions. Hopefully Rivaldo Fairweather is another guy that manages to make his way back to the Dallas Cowboys practice squad, because I think the guy has something. The small running back, Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn has officially been waived by the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he's going to have to clear waivers for him to have a chance to actually come back to the team, but this one was something I've been expecting all summer long. Ever since we drafted Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa, I pretty much knew this was going to be a heavy possibility, and he did himself some favors in that last preseason game against the Atlanta Falcons, had some really nice rushes, but I think overall his advantages that he offered are not enough to overcome the disadvantage that his size brings to the table. And when you have guys like Phil Maffa and Jaden Blue and Javonte Williams, even and Miles Sanders still in your running back room, I really just didn't understand how they would even figure out how to use a Deuce Vaughn back there. So Deuce being gone, not too surprised about that. I'm sure there are some fans out there that for some reason had a weird allegiance to Deuce Vaughn and they're going to be hurt and stuff like this. But I'm going to be honest, man, out with the old, in with the new. I'm all for a new coaching staff kind of putting their marks on a roster. I'm all for Brian Schottenheimer having the guys on his roster that he actually likes, at least at this part of the video I am. I'm about to be a little pissed off in just a second. Speaking of which, the Dallas Cowboys are sending offensive lineman Asim Richards to the New Orleans Saints. This was actually a pretty heady move right there. I'm glad that they did this because Asim Richards was someone that easily still had some value left, and he could find himself starting on a team like the Saints. To be quite honest, he was a guy that actually got some starting reps for the Cowboys last season when Tyler Guyton went down, and he was drafted originally by the Mike McCarthy coaching staff. So this is probably a situation where Brian Schottenheimer has guys that he likes more. And again, new coaching staff putting their fingerprints on this thing, getting rid of some of the pet projects of the previous coaching staff. And that theme is going to continue, trust me. So we about to get into some super shocking names after we go over these trade details. But the Dallas Cowboys are trading Asim Richards to the New Orleans Saints along with a 2028 7th round pick in exchange for a 2028 6th round pick. and the young offensive lineman will now be under the wing of Kellen Moore, whom the Cowboys know very well from his time in Dallas as a quarterback. All right, so Asim Richards, he's out. Cowboys get themselves another late-round pick. Hopefully they can parlay that late-round pick into a meaningful move at some point down the road. But I actually like this move. I have no problem with this. Nate Thomas honestly beat him out at left tackle position, and Nate Thomas is our backup. So there's no point in keeping a backup whenever you can trade a backup because another team values him as a starter potentially, right? The next guy we're going to talk about here is wide receiver Jalen Brooks. This one was a little bit surprising, if I'm being completely honest, because I just knew that Jalen Brooks essentially had like a permanent spot on this roster. But this right here, this was the move that pretty much let us know they're ready to move forward with Ron Flanoy. They probably seen more from Ron Flanoy on tape this preseason, which honestly, if you go and look at it, Ron Flanoy actually looks like he's improved. And that's, to me, what you're looking for out of your young players is you want them to come back and look like they've gotten better. Now, Jalen Brooks didn't look like a scrub. Jalen Brooks wasn't terrible or anything like that. But Jalen Brooks just found himself being a victim of consequence. And I think that the situation was the Cowboys have 5 receivers that they really, really like, and they had to make a very hard decision on that 6th and final receiver that they would retain on the roster. And they opted to keep a Ron Flanoy over Jalen Brooks, and I can't be mad at them at all for that. Again, I think that Jalen Brooks was one of the players that a lot of fans were probably looking towards him being off of the roster at some point this offseason, so there you go. Some of y'all got y'all wishes granted. The Cowboys have also released 2025 7th round pick Tommy Aking-Basote. Now, they could be doing this just to bring him back on the practice squad if he's able to clear waivers, but I'm not surprised by this one at all because if you watch it, he just honestly kind of looked like Mozzie Smith out there on the field. If we're being completely real, Aking-Basote and Mozzie Smith, their production wasn't far apart from each other, and that's what makes this next move even more infuriating. Pt.1 Winfrey was easily, if not our best defensive tackle in the preseason, one of the best defensive tackles that we had in the preseason. I'm not sure if you're Brian Schottenheimer. I am not sure how you can continue walking around talking about a culture of competition, talking about guys being able to work themselves onto the roster, talk about guys being able to earn a roster spot, work their way up the depth chart, just come in and compete every single day. When you release somebody that literally embodied all of those things every single time that fans had a chance to lay eyes on him. Not only at practices, because I did go to Star Frisco, and he was somebody that stood out even at practices, in my opinion, but in the games. And to me, I just don't know how you can look at Pt.1 Winfrey, look at what he did this entire offseason, look how he competed this offseason, and never mind. Never mind. Forget everything I just said. I ain't never seen something like this before. I think one of the reporters messed up. I think Calvin Watkins just messed this report up, bruh. He said a change. Cowboys called defensive tackle Pt.1 Winfrey, telling him, quote, this is his last chance, and he's going to make the 53 according to the person with knowledge of the discussions. Winfrey thought he was getting cut, but he's here to stay. What? Who would tell Winfrey this is his last? What did he do? Did he do something inside the locker room or something? I don't know, bro, but take everything else I just said back about Brian Schottenheimer. I'm not even going to edit it out, bro. This right here is absolutely hilarious. I don't know if somebody just got caught capping or if the Cowboys seen the reaction to this thing or what. I don't know what just happened, but apparently Pt.1 Winfrey's on the roster, y'all. So, yeah, we good. We good. I guess how about them Cowboys?
That's calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy, shut up. Hey! I'm still them boys.